Hello, Army of Light, Earth Division. Shawna L. Francis here. Today is May 2nd, 2023. Thank you so much, guys, for coming back. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your wonderful comments, all your love and support. You are amazing. I hope you're all doing great. It's been a week already. Really, since I spoke to you all last, it's a lot about this galactic war that's really raging. Also, Melchizedek has some really nice feedback about the experiment they're running, whereby they are hoping to make a connection with each person who asks for it. So that was from last week's video. I'm doing really good. Mexico's been amazing. The weather's getting really warm and a little bit more humid, but honestly, May is my favorite month. Because the Sea of Cortez really starts to warm up and I'm able to swim more and snorkel more, and the water gets crystal clear and it's all turquoise. And this place kind of clears out a little bit. People kind of go home if they're snowbirds, they kind of go back to where they come from, and this place gets really quiet. So I'm enjoying it. But it's been an interesting week. I'm reading Dr. Michael Sala's book called Antarctica's Hidden History. Maybe some of you have already read this book. Mind-blowing on Antarctica. We didn't talk a whole lot about Antarctica this week, but I'm learning so much, and I can't even maybe next week I'll be done with the book and I can give more of an update on what I read and kind of how that applies to what we've learned directly from Melchizedek, the GFL, the 3 lieutenants, about Antarctica. But it's massive what's going on there, just massive. It's beyond my comprehension. If even half of what Dr. Sala says is true, it's just incomprehensible almost. All right. So Wednesday came around after last week's video. And Melchizedek, they were really cute. I'd sat down for about an hour, hadn't heard anything. I'm like, hello, do we have anything going on? And remember, I'm meditating 3 hours straight with Melchizedek during the middle of the day, and then at night meeting with the 3 lieutenants. So they said, yes, Shawna, you're correct. Today we're a bit busier than normal due to the experiment we're running with your constituents. And it's an exciting time for us to give this a try and see what happens with this collective. And I know I've received a few emails from you and comments where there seems to be some connections being made. So I'm so happy about that. It's so exciting. And they had some nice words of encouragement for me here. Shawna, it just may not be apparent to you how far-reaching your work has been in helping others on their path to wholeness, dear one. Their paths to knowing who and what they are, and we commend you, Shawna. I said, thank you, Melchizedek. They said, what may seem fairly easy for you would be very difficult for most, and you do it with grace and with a smile on your face. So that was very nice to hear that. And then they had said, Shawna, can we please meet with you around 11 a.m.? We understand that it's not always going to be possible, but this is a great time for us to meet, more so in that conference room style meeting where we invite you in and it's a bit more formal. So with the spiritual retreat that I've been running for the last couple of weeks, I wasn't always sitting down at the same time. So they're asking for consistency here, 11 a.m. And I'll say too, for any of you who are hoping to connect more thoroughly with your guides or with these guides, setting an actual time each day that's consistent could be helpful. Almost all my guides where I've had any kind of lengthy experience with, they've wanted this. Siri from the Pleiades, 8 a.m. in the morning, the GFL, the Grand Council, all of them have asked at some point or time to have a consistent schedule. So just a tip for you guys if you want to try that, might be helpful. So on Wednesday the 26th, then at night, I sat down to meet with the 3 lieutenants and had touched base with Racer a little bit, but there wasn't much talking going on and the energy was feeling off. And Max comes in and I said, what's going on, Max? And he says, sorry, dear one, it is this war. It's really trying on all of our nerves. It's been a rough 24 hours in your linear time. It's been tough here recently, and we're all feeling the weight of this battle. I'm like, okay. And I'll get into this later, but basically for the last 2 or 3 days, there's been no communication with the 3 lieutenants because they're solely focused on this war. But I'll get into the details of that here. I said, I'm so sorry, Max, team. I said, what can we do? Does it help to send you energy? Does it help to pray? What can we do to help visualize, is it about visualizing peace? And I didn't really get anything back. So just right there in that moment, I decided to pray to God, to pray to our angelic family, to pray to the angelic realm, visualizing peace and love surrounding all the GFL, putting them in a protective bubble, a protective dome. So I was just really trying to get into this and really visualize this. Again, trying to understand just how far we can take our power of intention to manipulate energy. I think it's just like, it's just what we don't know. But truly, we are that powerful. We are that creative. Our intentions are huge. So I went for it once again, just sitting there, imagining myself with my wings open, working with the other angels, picturing, safety around the GFL, peace happening, the negative reptilians stopping their attack. And I found myself actually trying to speak directly to the reptilians again. And I think I had mentioned this, that I did this last week as well, where it's like, okay, team, it's time to adapt or evolve. When I say team, I mean the negative reptilians. It's time to adapt or evolve. We can't continue like this. The light has already won. Just beaming them with love. I actually tried to find, I pictured myself finding the reptilians who were actually at the helm of the weapons themselves, trying to get them to stop attacking. Telling them, you can go to the light, you can switch sides here, you don't have to be a part of this regime. We will take you in if you're ready to atone, you're ready to switch teams, work on behalf of love and light. Anyway, I pictured all that happening. And then at a certain point, I found myself in my mind's eye, kind of at the control room of this ship, of one of their ships. And there was a group of, say, 5 reptilians in there. And I started speaking to them as well. It's time to adapt or evolve, time to adapt or evolve. And it was feeling quite lovely, and I'm sending them love, and I'm picturing, them stopping their attacks. And one of the negative reptilians who seemed to be in charge looked right at me and said something to the effect, I am going to drain every last drop of your blood, and I'm going to drink it. So I was just like, oh, okay. And I kind of had a bit of a flip answer for that being. And again, I'm not even sure if this was real, but I'd said, well, aren't you getting tired of that? And he said, never. He said, never. I'm like, okay. My energy kind of shifted again, and I'm kind of getting deeper into this. And all of a sudden, I see these 5 or so reptilians turning white. So what had started out as this intention, and I was, purposefully visualizing all this love and light, these interesting things started happening that really had me scratching my head. And the next day I did ask Melchizedek about this, and I'll tell you what they said. But these reptilians turning white, they were not happy at all. They were so mad this was happening. One of them put on a big cloak type thing and covered himself up. I also got a sense there that they had 17 more ships on the way, and that those negative reptilians had blackmailed some other species into helping them with this war. So I did see that. I thought that was really interesting. It was very specific. I'd said, this is a win-win. If you can adapt or evolve, then all of this can go away, this war can end, and we can all move on and evolve together. I said, these are good choices. It's a win-win. And this negative reptilian said, this is not a win-win. We own this place. We work so hard here. These are our people. This is our species. And I said, not any longer. I said, and humanity was never yours from the beginning, never. I said, that's delusional. And basically that was where that visual, where that ended on that point. All right, so next morning, sitting to meet with Melchizedek again for 3 hours, and just feeling so much love, just blissed out in this love. After about a half an hour, again, I find myself in that conference room, and I heard a voice say, "This is so special to us to have you in attendance here at our gathering. It's an honor, dear one. Thank you for making the time in your schedule to commune with us here today." I said, "You're so very welcome. There's no place I'd rather be. Thank you for having me. It's quite magical." "Oh, certainly, Shawna, wonderful. We're circling back around with you on our experiment. We would like to report back what we're finding, what we're seeing, what we're feeling, and what we're experiencing." I said, "Excellent." They said, "Shawna, we are making some real connections with people. There are some quote-unquote light bulb moments happening, love being felt, our presence being perceived, our words being heard." And thanks everybody who has sent me notes telling me that you are experiencing some cool stuff after asking for this connection. They said here, "And Shawna, this is happening on a scale that has not been seen yet within this plane of existence. So we'd like to just take a moment to express our gratitude to you and to all who are participating in this experiment with eagerness, with love, and an open heart. We are touched by what we are experiencing, and we are inspired as well." Amazing. We as Melchizedek are feeling such love from this collective, and we hope and expect that this will be the beginning of a blossoming relationship with many of you. We are honored to serve you in this way, they said. Amazing. It's just so exciting. I said, that's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. And they said, we will continue to connect with as many people who ask, who desire it. We ask that you please not give up, but that you continue to know that we hear you, we see you, we know you, and we love you. It is our greatest joy to help humanity know themselves as we do. I said, beautiful. I'll let everybody know. I said, team, can I please ask a question? I said, and I basically explained everything that I had just explained to you about what had happened the night before with the ships. I said, Melchizedek, can you please help explain whether or not that was really happening, or if it was just a construct of my mind or my imagination, or me working with their higher selves? I said, before I share this experience with anybody or make a video, I just would love your take on it. And they said, Shawna, once again, it's complicated. You are exploring the depths of your consciousness, the reach of your intention, interacting on a telepathic level with others, fighting on behalf of the light. We'd like to say that it's a combination of all these things. It's real. It's also your imagination. It's also your intention. And it's also a bit of projection. Yeah, that's a bit confusing. You're also getting to know how to work with the angelic aspect of you. How do you enable this part of you for service? How do you capitalize on your seraphim nature? Overall, Shawna, we'd like to say that this is beautiful work. and service of the heart, of the light, and it's important. It'll help you push the boundaries of what you believe you can do and what you believe is possible. Boy, that's the truth. Yeah. Then later that night, meeting with the 3 lieutenants, really there was not much in the way, there were no words basically, but what happened was Racer gave me a glimpse of what's going on this ship. So remember that Racer's on a ship, a Galactic Federation of Light ship that is in active combat. Mantid is part of the GFL, but his ship, at least before, was not in combat. Racer basically, I mean, I kind of went into this dark space and I was really deep in meditation, and I just felt the trembling. I felt the trembling. And you know, guys, when like there's an earthquake, the vibration actually liquefies things. That's what was, that's the kind of thing that I was seeing, like just such extreme shaking and this horrible loud noise. And it was just obliterating everything, including I could see how it was impacting the beings. Like if it wasn't killing the beings, it was incapacitating them. I mean, where you couldn't do anything because it was such a force. And imagine too, if this ship is the size of, say, Texas, one of these energy weapons could wipe out a city like Houston, for example. Like that's how strong and powerful that is. So, and I was really quite disturbed by this vision. I sat down to my computer later that night and I just did a quick Google search on energy weapons that we have right now on Earth, that humanity has come up with. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying, all the different types of energy weapons out there. Some of them have been outlawed because they are so destructive. So imagine in the hands of the Greys, the negative reptilians, highly evolved beings here who have developed these so much more so. So anyway, it was really quite awful but it did give me a sense for what they're under, what they're up against. The next day was April 29th, Saturday morning. So Melchizedek comes in and they said, Shawna, we do have a bit of a situation we'd like to speak to you about. They said the Galactic Federation of Light is taking on heavy combat, heavy destruction, much loss, dear one. I said, I'm so sorry to hear that. I said, I kind of figured it as much from what I saw last night. They said, Shawna, we know this weighs heavy on your heart, and you've grown very fond of your team at the Galactic Federation of Light, and we're sorry to be bringing you this news. They said, what this means is there'll be a bit of a pause in your direct communications with them, and in particular, the 3 lieutenants, as all beings are focused solely on waging this battle in defense against the negative reptilians and their allies. I said, okay. I said, are Racer and Mantid doing okay? And they said, yes, dear one, they are fine, just focused. I said, okay. I said, what about Max? I said, does it make sense for Max and I to continue to meet? And they said, dear one, since Max is not part of the Galactic Federation of Light, who is truly taking the lead in terms of your participation with the boots on the ground, the light workers, we feel it would be best to put the communications on hold until the GFL is ready to reconvene with you. Okay. I said, thank you, that's very helpful. I said, is there anything else we should know? And they said, first, Shawna, we just want to reiterate how much you're loved and supported, and while your comrades are under fire at the moment, the light has already won. They will be victorious, and as we've stated before, this is a necessary battle, and it's the best way to ensure long-lasting peace after it's complete. I said, what can we do? What can we do? Is it about prayers, visualization, intention? And they said, certainly, Shawna, all prayers will be heard. Positive, loving intention will be felt and appreciated. Okay, and they said, dear one, this would be considered a major galactic war. Casualties on both sides. each bringing their best efforts. But Shawna, there will be peace. It has been written, and this planet will be free from their influence, from the subjugation. Free will be restored, and the vibration will raise sufficiently so that the human species may continue to evolve and to support Earth in her fifth dimensional transition. Yeah, team, you remember when they had said a while back that the GFL had assembled this super army? Do you remember that super army? And then they'd also said a few months ago that the negative reptilians were positioning ships closer in, all this leading to this big battle. I had a thought, and I had asked Melchizedek. I said, I'm curious. I said, what is your dimensionality? I said, do you even have dimensionality? Are you of a certain density? I know you're not part of the Galactic Federation of Light, but how would you describe that? And they said, Shawna, you are partially correct in that our consciousness spans all dimensions. So we are unable to say that we are at one certain density. We are able to operate within any density, and all densities are contained within our existence. And we can explain this more later, dear one. I said, okay, thank you. So that was basically the last major communications that I had this week. So for the last 2 days, I guess last 2 days, there's been some beautiful energy work, but really no major communications coming through. And I actually had more for this video than I thought I was going to have, so I'm thankful for that. But I start a new retreat on Saturday, so I'm going to get busy again. I'm not going to have time, I don't think, to record a meditation for the GFL, but certainly, team, every day if you could say a prayer, visualize peace, visualize love, and again, for the negative reptilians, it's evolve or adapt. Those are the choices. That would be helpful. If anybody wants to pick up that Antarctica's Hidden History by Michael Sala, that'd be great. I think there's some really important information there. He talks a lot about the negative reptilians, but it's so much bigger than that, guys. There's so much going on there. Maybe next week, if I finish this book, I'll have a bit of a summary and I can give you the highlights from the book. Okay, team. Thanks again for being here. I really hope you're doing great. Let me know how you're doing, and if you've been able to connect with Melchizedek. Maybe that's just a love frequency coming through. Okay, guys, I love you all so much. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for being on this journey. What a ride. What a journey we're on. I love you, and I will see you all next week, if not sooner. Mwah.